Welcome back to Film Snob HQ. This is the road to Avengers Doomsday, and we're getting very close to the end of that road. We are wrapping up Phase 5 today. Phase 5 ends with a TV show that not a lot of people watched, from my understanding, and it got review bombed pretty heavily online, but it's actually a really wonderful show. And I'm talking about Ironheart. Bang, 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 up here. Ironheart has Riri Williams as the titular character. Reprising her role is Dominique Thorne, who made her MCU debut in Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. She had a bit role in that film, but she has a lot more to do in this with her own show. The show is produced or executive produced by Ryan Coogler as well, which definitely not only adds some credibility, but definitely adds a level of quality to the show as well. You know, I think Coogler was happy to kind of oversee this one because it's well within his wheelhouse. I know he didn't direct it or write it, but he was involved there. So Riri Williams is a character that I'm familiar with in the comics. She made her debut during the Civil War II arc. In the comics, she's a little bit different. She's like a 13, 14-year-old child genius. She goes to MIT way earlier than most children will, because they wait until their college age. In the show, they've aged her up a little bit, which makes total sense. Basically, the show begins with her leaving university and heading back to Chicago, which would be with her family, because she's expelled from college. She's expelled because she's been reckless and she misuses funds, and she's been funding her own side project, and she disappeared to Wakanda and all those sorts of things. And when she gets back, she crosses paths with a man named Parker, also known as the Hood. Now, I'm not too familiar with the Hood in the comics. I haven't read too many of his appearances, but the Hood basically wears this cloak that is imbued with dark magic. And in this version of the character, at least, I can't speak to the comics, but in this version, spoilers, that cloak came from Mephisto. Mephisto is kind of like Marvel's version of Satan, although nowhere near as powerful. But he is very much a trickster. In the comic books, Mephisto is the one that kind of convinced Thanos to snap everyone out of existence, and with the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that back in the 80s. Played by Sacha Baron Cohen as well. Now, that's a big reveal at the end of the show. Most of the show is focused on Riri trying to find her place in the world in a post-college life. She wants to rebuild her Ironheart suit. She creates an AI which replicates the visuals or the visual appearance of her dead best friend, who was killed during a drive-by shooting years before. And it's quite the emotional anchor of the show. It's a really interesting way of doing it as well. We've had different AI kind of sidekicks in the MCU already with Jarvis, with Karen, with Friday. But this is the first one who's had a visual representation. And Riri even says she accidentally creates it. It's not on purpose. It accidentally happens. And she decides to keep her around, which becomes, as I said, a very weighted anchoring point of the show, very emotional anchor, but also causes some problems as well. When she meets Parker, aka the Hood, she joins his crew, and he kind of pitches himself as a bit of a Robin Hood character. He wants to break into these tech companies. He wants to defraud these millionaires because they've got so much and so many have so little. He kind of pitches himself as a bit of a good guy, but it turns out he has nefarious purposes. All he really wants to do is take over his father's assets. It's revealed at the very end of the day. In addition to those cast members and those characters, we've also got Ezekiel Stane, played by Alden Ehrenreich, who is the son of Obadiah from Iron Man. So it's really interesting that in Ironheart's debut, one of her antagonists is the son of Iron Man's main antagonist, or his first antagonist as well, which adds for a lot of fun. Visually, the show is gorgeous. There's some really great visual effects in there. Riri has a number of suits she wears. She has the suit from Wakanda Forever. She's got the one that she's built up herself, and then she has to build a new suit by the end of the show. I really like her homemade suit. The revamp one is interesting and kind of cool to look at because it's made out of an old hot rod, an old Chevy or something like that. But I like the kind of scrapped together in your garage version. However, her new suit is also imbued with magic. So all in all, I don't know if it's an essential viewing in terms of the road to Doomsday, although I don't know how large a role Mephisto is going to play in the future. It would make sense for him to show up at some point, maybe not as the big bad in Doomsday or Secret or one of the big bads. Maybe he's going to be a future villain. Mephisto also is a really good character to set up Ghost Rider, because Ghost Rider, gets his powers from Mephisto as well, at least in some versions. He signs the contract and then he gets the Ghost Rider powers. So it would be interesting to see how that plays out. The other thing that's really interesting, and this is a huge spoiler, at the very end of the series, Riri Ironheart actually signs a deal with Mephisto. He offers to bring back her best friend in exchange for something which isn't quite revealed. I'm assuming it's her soul. It's generally that's generally what it is, and she accepts. Again, that's a really good setup to bring Ghost Rider in because he would want to maybe prevent these sorts of dealings from happening. So yeah, I really dug it. I think it's incredibly underrated. Don't look at the reviews online. Like the review, like they seem to be deliberately poorly reviewed. It's a really wonderful show. Definitely one of the stronger ones in Phase 5 and Phase 4, and a nice way to round out this era. So that's it. In terms of returning characters, Ironheart is going to come back, I'm sure, in Secret Wars and in Doomsday. Ezekiel Stane, I'm not sure. He's not dead. He's got powers, and he kind of redeems himself a little bit, so we'll see. The Hood is looking to get back into magic, so I imagine he's going to show up again at some point. And Mephisto, as I said, I think he's going to be a big-time player at some point, but when, we don't really know. That is it. Next up, I'm going to do my Phase 5 recap video, and then Fantastic Four First Steps.